We're looking for you, Jennifer. Oh, you just see a blank screen. Try joining again. Try one more time, Jennifer, or possibly several more times. Try clicking in one more time. Or you might have to refresh your screen, but
Yay!
there you are. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Well, really appreciate you joining us today. If everyone would now go ahead and click the Tell a Little Bird over here on the left, since we're live, it will go to your Twitter. Here we go. I'm telling a little bird. So Jennifer, how do you pronounce your last name? Is it Shutter or Shooter?
Shooter. It's a good German name.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Awesome. So you are the VP of Marketing for the State Fair of Texas. Is that correct?
I am. I've been here for a few years now. It's amazing. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better job. Couldn't ask for a better boss in big tech. So it's a great place to work.
Great. That's awesome. So for those of you joining us today, my name is Neil Lemons, and I'm on the board of Social Media Dallas. It was formerly the Social Media Club of Dallas. It's a nonprofit organization that focuses on social media education, as well as networking and just being able to learn more about how social media is used in marketing, PR, advertising, and that type of thing. And so today we're actually interviewing Jennifer, because she's actually going to be speaking at the showcase that's coming up, our social media showcase that is coming up September 17th at the Angelica. And you can Google that and find out, or go to smcdallas.org and click on events, and then you can sign up to go to the showcase, which is on the 17th. But we'll go ahead and jump into this. I'm very excited to talk with you. I've been a big fan of the State Fair of Texas since I was a little kid. I grew up about 100 miles from Dallas, so I went probably a dozen times from age 7 to 15, and I've gone a few times since now I'm 34. And I've gone a few times the last few years as well, and I've really enjoyed it, especially the food part of it all. But
we're known for.
Yes, exactly. So before we get in, we don't have to spill the beans on everything you're going to be talking about on the 17th for the Social Media Dallas. However, I'd love to talk just more about the State Fair for one. Things that are happening new this year. Secondly, maybe we can talk a little bit about how you guys do your marketing and from a practical standpoint or from a logistical standpoint, what you guys do, what kind of channels you're using. If you're using, of course, you're using social, but there may be some other channels you're using, and kind of the history of that since you've been there for a while. But I'll go ahead and let you take it away, Jennifer.
Yeah, so I guess for anybody who doesn't know or isn't from this area, the State Fair's been, our first State Fair was in 1886. So, we worked for an amazing company that has a 129-year tradition. Like you said, most people did come as a child. I grew up in Allen, so, not too far away. And, one of the things I do remember is getting the school ticket and coming, on our designated school day. So there's a lot of tradition and the element of family tradition, and this is something that people do every year, is sort of one of the big pieces that we're trying to incorporate into our brand now. The State Fair has been really, really lucky over the years, and we're really fortunate in the amount of PR that we were able to receive, especially around food. Obviously, the Big Tex Choice Awards and things like fried butter and fried Coke and all of those things have really made coming to the fair a food experience, not just a ride and livestock and agricultural experience, which is what it was many years ago. So we're looking at how do we take that now. Up until about a couple of years ago, the strategy branding wise and kind of marketing wise was that we had a promotion. We were a 24-day fair, and we promoted during that promotional window, and the rest of the year we didn't have a lot of interaction with our fans. As when I came along and we went, one of the first things that we were looking at doing was redoing the website and talking to all of our different departments. One of the things that the fair is really lucky in that is that we're hugely content rich, which is not something you would think about just being a 24-day fair. But what we found is in talking to our creative arts department and talking to livestock and we have an entire landscaping department and all of these things. We had all of these assets that we could use outside of fair time that gave content to our fans and gave us an opportunity to interact with people outside the fair time in a meaningful way. So that was sort of an aha moment for us to say, wait a minute, we need to look at things a little differently. And we have this huge amount of opportunity of not only to promote people coming to the fair and the traditional side and the giving people access to agriculture and learning about livestock and that component, but we had an opportunity to really give them meaningful content outside the fair time. You guys are probably going to hear things behind me. I don't know if you just heard there was a ride that just went by my office. So I'm actually in the office today, and we're in full mode setup. So that's kind of where about March, January, March of last year, where we really did sort of a shift on how we were going to approach marketing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I guess you were really behind a lot of the strategy behind that too, right?
Well, we did some internal, I came in new, with the president who had been here for 26 years retired. So the person that was in marketing had moved into that role as president. I came in new, we had a fresh pair, a whole new group in PR. So it was one of those things where it was kind of a collaborative effort of looking at how do we do our whole communication strategy in a little bit different way, and how did PR fit into that, and they formulated theirs, and how did we market. This year is actually exciting for me personally in the marketing department because this is the first time we're doing paid advertising. We've done trade in the past, but primarily we didn't do any actual advertising. So this year, starting on Monday, you guys will actually see print. I mean, not only print ads in a lot of different publications, but TV and radio in a very different way than what we might have had in the past. Just doing trade deals. So we're excited.
That's incredible. I think with a few years ago with the whole big things happen in Dallas campaign of the whole city, it did get a lot more buzz around the United States of Dallas is a place where you can go and really make things happen. And they always say everything's bigger in Texas, but everything really can be bigger in Dallas, just with the runway we have as far as building up businesses, building up events, building up a buzz about all these different things. And I think there's a lot more people that are maybe wanting to travel to the fair or will be traveling to the fair from outside of Texas just to have a little piece of what we have over here.
It was so interesting when season tickets went on sale, so that we have a really big push this year for the season pass to invite people to come back more than once, because with 26 acres of things to do and 226 acres of just property and 111 things to do that you can do every single day. It's hard to do everything in one day. It's like almost nearly impossible. So with the season pass, it's a great value. And so we pushed it. But what's funny, as soon as those went on sale, we had 4 international orders almost immediately. And they were like,
Oh,
we were just like, you guys can buy those when you get here. And they're like, no, we have a trip planned and we want our tickets in hand. So we actually had to ship off season passes to New Zealand, London, England, Germany, and I believe Australia this year. So that was, they got the award for the season pass most traveled at this point. So it was kind of, it was all like right when they went on sale. It was really interesting.
Wow. I think, and I'm involved in Dallas here on for the what we call the startup community. There's over the last few years, there's been, I remember back in maybe 2008, 2009, we only had what we call a co-working space, where it's sort of like a business hub for new businesses and startups. And when I think of, when I think of Dallas, I think of innovation, and the state fair has been extremely innovative as far as food goes over the last 50 to 100 years. I mean, they invented the corny dog at the end of the day, right? The Fletcher's corny dog, and as well as dozens and dozens of other types of foods. And I think that that's really attractive as far as from being on the hub, on the edge of creativity.
We're really blessed that we have such creative and innovative concessionaires that work with us. Each year, this is the 11th year for the Big Tex Choice Awards. And each year we're like, what are they going to come up with next? Well, yeah, this is what they gave us this year. Chicken fried lobster. We had alligator, buffalo. It's kind of in a bacon margarita.
Bacon margarita, I saw that, yeah.
Bacon margarita. So, it's kind of one of those things you look at, and it is. It is, the food element is one of those things that we don't take it lightly. We want this to be a great experience for the fairgoer, and food is obviously a huge piece of that. But the other piece is that you don't necessarily see, on the forefront. Food is one of the easy things on the innovation side. There's a lot of things going on that you don't necessarily think about until you're sort of sitting on the side of the desk and are watching it. The innovations and the rides that come in, and the new rides and the new elements, and can they spin you faster? Can they do, that's pretty amazing. 3 years ago, we installed the top of Texas Tower. It goes up 500 feet and spins and a 360 and gives you the most amazing panoramic view of the area that you've seen. And that's one of those things, if you look at the technology and the innovation that goes into lifting, a 100-person air-conditioned, compartment up that and rotating it, it's pretty amazing. You also have to think about it sounds strange, but from an innovation standpoint of the fair is temporary, right? We come in, we set up, and we break down and leave. But we're sat in the middle of a historic, one of the largest collection of Art Deco buildings. And to be able to figure out the logistics to create this temporary element and all of the things that go in behind the scenes of that people don't necessarily see. My first year, the thing that struck me the most, which most fairgoers would probably not ever notice, is that the landscaping piece of this and how the links that the fair goes to make sure that the space is beautiful and clean, and in all of those things that make a great experience for the fairgoer, what goes on behind the scenes on how to make that happen and how to move trash and how to do all of those things that we need to do operationally, but make it seamless and nobody ever notices from a attendance standpoint, is actually, even more, we have a $1 million greenhouse that produces all this amazing stuff. There's a team, and it's one of those things that right before the fair, all of these beautiful plants get placed all over, and as you're walking around, you probably wouldn't necessarily notice it, but they make such a huge difference in, how that works, and what those guys are doing over there in growing and keeping those, what they're doing all year long in the greenhouse is actually, pretty amazing as well. So
that's incredible. Yeah,
that
the fair
don't think about.
Yeah, the fairgrounds are open year round, right? There's museums there. There's
Fair Park, yes. So Fair Park is open year round. So.
Yeah, the park. Okay, sure. Awesome. I guess if you want to go ahead and tell us, you can elaborate as much as you like. I know you started in digital a long time ago, and now.
Yeah, I had actually got my undergrad in MIS and decided that wasn't going to be a good fit for me, that I wasn't the person that was going to be able to sit and find the missing period in code and make that happen. So went back and kind of focused on marketing and PR. And, obviously when the .com hit, I was a good fit for an interactive agency. So spent many years there before I went into nonprofit, and then spent about almost 9 years at the opera. And then decided it was sort of time to look for a new challenge. And this opportunity, kind of just presented itself. And it was, how many times in your life can you say that you work for big tech? So I had, couldn't not take that opportunity. So, it's interesting because we have a lot of people that work for the fair who've been here for a very long time. We have people, I work with a guy who's been here for 47 years. I mean, we have this, people love they not only do our fairgoers love the fair, but the people who work for the fair love and have a passion for the fair. So it's, really, it's always interesting to come into an organization that has such passion and longevity of what they've been doing, but, and be the new person going, well, could we do this? Or what about and asking those types of questions. And so they've, it's been great because everybody's sort of embraced the handful of newbies, if you will, the people who have been here for a couple of years now, and our ideas and some of the things we want to do. So, we really, if anybody's looked and watched the fair, you're going to not only see what we're doing from a marketing standpoint on our advertising and what we're doing probably socially as well, but you're going to see a lot of that pulling through onto the grounds now, so that we're kind of getting, kind of completing that circle where the experience that you have on the grounds is now being pulled through on everything else. And then the visuals from the advertising are being pulled back up through on the grounds.
Yeah, so much content, so many interesting things. So if you just joined us in the last 5 minutes or so, we're talking with Jennifer Shooter. She's a VP of marketing for the State Fair of Texas, and she will actually be presenting on September 17th at our social media showcase, which we do once a year through the organization Social Media Dallas, formerly the Social Media Club of Dallas, which is a nonprofit organization, association that is very interested in talking about social media, educating people on social media and how it's used in PR, marketing, advertising, even customer service. But so Jennifer, I don't want to get too brass tacks or too meat and potatoes too early on, but if you don't mind, I would love to know, like on a day-to-day basis, what it's like as far as managing the social for the State Fair of Texas. I mean, you may be more on the strategy side, or maybe even the tactical item.
It's kind of all hands on, and everybody's doing a little bit of everything. Right now, one of the main goals was to try to get tools in that we could pre-schedule. So a lot of the stuff, the goal right now is to get everything, kind of the core pieces that we know need to go out every single day, scheduled. And then we're creating almost the shot sheet that needs to happen every single day of the fair, because every single day is different, right? So there's different contests going on. There's different things in the barns. There's lots of different opportunities. So right now it's finalizing what that schedule is going to look like. I know each day for the fair, we're going to have four core posts that are happening across all of the channels. We have a top 5 things to do today. So we have a blog that's going to go every day that's going to highlight things that people may not think about. What struck me, what's so interesting when you tell somebody you work for the fair, the first thing somebody says to you is, "Oh, I come out and we stop here and I get my corny dog and I do that." I mean, they have their list of things that they do. And when you ask them, like, "Oh, have you ever seen this or you've ever done this?" Most people, they're like, "Oh, I didn't even know that was there." So our goal this year is to sort of what we're calling kind of help curate the visit a bit more. So the top 5 things are to highlight those kind of weird and interesting things that you may not have thought about doing at the fair. So that happens that'll go out every morning, as well as we're going to do a foodie blog this year. So obviously fried food is something that everybody, everybody's going to come get their Fletchers. I'm sure lots of people are going to come and try the lobster and the, fried alligator and all of the other stuff that's amazing and great out here. But if you think about it, there's a ton of other food. We have a wine garden where there's wine tastings. We have the contest kitchen, which has, you can come and see home cooks bring their cakes and cookies in, and it's on some of those days where there's 400 or 500 entries sitting in there. It's actually amazing to see. We have a celebrity chef kitchen where they do demos and you can do tastings. The Food and Fiber building, you can do all these tastings of great Texas products. There's a lot of other food out here, not just the fried. And there's a lot of other food out here that doesn't cost you anything. So we wanted to kind of showcase that as well. So the foodie blog will kind of highlight those elements. We always do a picture of the day. And we try to mix that picture of the day up with, is it a fan photo that we're reposting, or is it something that one of the staff or one of our photographers took? And then there's a big text photo of the day. So I know each day of the fair, we're going to have those 4 core things that are happening. So we're trying to get all of those sort of laid out and organized, as well as, there's a huge amount of opportunity to do stuff with music on this day, so each day it's going to be a little different. So during the fair, I'm guesstimating that we'll probably do between probably 6 and 8 Facebook posts, depending on the day. Obviously, we have a lot more opportunity on Instagram and Twitter to push out more content. And we've been playing with Periscope a little bit, seeing how that's going to work for us. And I think there's a huge amount of opportunity there. Just, we did it with the Big Tex Choice Awards. So it's just one of those things that it's a matter of, getting out on the grounds and actually doing it.
Exactly. There's really an endless amount of things you can do and focus on, but it's like, how do you prioritize? And that's just really the magic. I like what you said about, featuring things that people might not already know, because people kind of get stuck in their routine and like, well, I'm going to go get a corner dog.
It's universal. No matter who you talk to, everybody, they have their path, they have their gate they go in, and so not only are we doing the top 5 things and things like that, but we also have several what we're calling guided itineraries, especially for families, because a lot of, the other piece I hear is that the fair is really expensive, and, we come out and do this stuff. There's lots of things you can do out here that don't cost any more. Your admission gets you main stage concerts. It gets you 110 different things each day. It's really, really hard to explain all those 110 things in just a visitor guide or something like that. So we're creating supplemental pieces that we can push out primarily through social to help people understand all the different things they can do and help them plan their visit and help them make it easy if they have 2 or 3 kids in tow with them. Start here, go here, go here, go here. All these things are included with your admission. We don't take them through the midway. We don't say, the things that actually would, actually cost more. Those guided itineraries are all about free educational, and interesting things that celebrate Texas.
Sure. That's great. My dad, one time he met, I believe, someone in the Fletcher family from the Corny Dogs. And he was just mentioning how just during the fair is when they really make most of their money for the whole year. And I'm just thinking about some of the different vendors, and some of them are local vendors. Some of them don't do anything but the fair. But I was curious, what's the kind of the process to get accepted as a food vendor at the fair? You might or might not know that, but
there's an application process that begins in January. Even the people who have been a concessionaire with us in the past have to complete their application and their paperwork on time. Each year, most of the time we have concessionaires that return each year. That's unless something's happened. And given the most I've seen since I've been here, there's been 2 or maybe 4 positions, 4 stands that are open of the 200 plus that we have. This year we have 2 new concessionaires coming in, so it's a highly competitive process. And if somebody fills out an application saying, "Hey, we want to do hot dogs," or that's what we want to do is find the new. And I think that's again one of those things that people don't necessarily know, that we actually work. The concession, our operators are independent. They buy their booth. We work with them on how the rev share works and all of that, but they're independent operators. But we do work with them to make sure that we don't have too much of one food item out here, that we're giving a variety, that we're doing something special. Because when people come to the fair, they want, this is the one time a year that they can go splurge, and you have something that you're not going to have on a normal basis. So just just having hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that that's not something that we would want more of at this point. What we want is something that somebody says, I only have this when I come to the fair, and really that's the first thing I go get, next to my Fletcher's.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, we have some amazing, again, it's kind of one of those things, we have concessionaires that have been out here for 60 years. You talk to some of them that they're second generation now. They grew up working in the stand. I mean, Skip Fletcher, grew up on the Midway, basically working in the Fletcher's stand. And now his granddaughter is running their social media and doing, it's really great to see. It's a family, and it's about tradition, and they're bonded to the state fair, and they have a passion for the fair and making sure that the fair goer has a great experience. That, it's really amazing to see.
Yeah. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know there's some epic, I guess, foods that not just have happened recently, but in the last 50 to 100 years that have been invented at the fair. I don't know if you know off the top of your head some of those items that people might not even think about that were really invented at the State Fair of Texas.
Well, obviously the corny dog is probably one of the most, the food competition, looking at that and the origins of that 11 years ago, it was really to say, how do we get people excited about the fair before the fair? How do we get people talking in August and September before the fair opens? And that's really where the Big Tex Choice Awards came from. And the first winners were, it was fried ice cream. It was Mexican fried ice cream.
Oh,
and so when you think about things like that, it definitely wasn't necessarily the 100% origin, but the Big Tex Choice Awards gave us fried butter. It gave us fried Coke. It gave us, all sorts of interesting, items that you probably wouldn't have seen. And I think that contest alone also sparked innovation, because other fairs and other concessionaires from other fairs saw what this was doing, and it sort of helped raise the game everywhere. There's amazing food at a lot of state fairs, and depending on where you go, they all have their niche. They all have their Fletcher's corny dog. That's something that was originated there. You think about it. You talk about innovation. That's what fairs were originally. It was for the fair was the kind of the central hub for people to come in from rural communities and see the latest and greatest technology for agriculture and for their homes and things like that. And that's what the kind of the purpose of the fairs were, 129 years ago or 100 years ago. And so, we still try to strive to do that. You see that with the auto show. You definitely see that, with the food and different things like that. And it really is one of those things that we want to celebrate the things that are great about Texas and all of those aspects, but also bring new items to people that they may not see other places.
Yeah, exactly. So this may be a sore subject, but I gotta bring it up. So where were you the day that Big Tex died?
I actually wasn't working here. I was working at the Opera at the time, and if anybody in Dallas understands the Opera House, the offices for the Dallas Opera are in the Opera House. It was all glass. And I do remember we had just stepped out of a meeting. Somebody was like, "Oh my gosh," and the entire office at that point was standing on the glass, looking out, and you could see the smoke. I very, very, very much remember it. That was obviously in October of 12 and of January of 13 is when I interviewed, and what struck me and what made me interested in this position is actually seeing what happened social media wise after that, and how much passion and how much, people, it was kind of crazy. It was like a member of your family had died. If you grew up, going to the fair, grew up taking your picture in front of Big Tex, and that was one of your family traditions. So seeing how people reacted, it made me interested. And that was definitely a conversation that I had during the interview process of, how did you guys handle that? How did that, what happened, and looking at what was done and understanding, like, how do you capitalize on that passion and that sense of tradition and sense of it being part of your family and moving that forward was definitely, one of the things that made this appealing, because I thought there was a great challenge there that we could, incorporate and move forward in terms of how we were marketing.
Well, it's definitely it put the whole eye of the world in the United States on Dallas for a little while there, and heck, it was PR.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it's not some kind of a conspiracy where they burned it on purpose, but no.
I mean, it was a he had been around for a very long time. He had just turned 60 at that point. It was an unfortunate incident. He is very well protected now with lots of different fire suppression. And we were able to bring back something that had more technology and more elements to it that, again, will be around for a very long time and be able to be part of that tradition for fairgoers. That was the most interesting to me. If you do a search on #BigTax, opening day of the fair, the amount of amazing family memories that people share, is pretty incredible. And they're also pretty innovative on how they take the picture in front of Big Tex, which I like a lot. I mean, I've seen everything from yoga poses and headstands to, group shots and selfies. I mean, it's the gamut is really there. So we love when people share those photos with us.
Sounds like a contest opportunity for best.
There may be some of those going on.
Cool. Well, if you're just joining us, we're talking with Jennifer. She's the VP of Marketing for the State Fair of Texas. And my name is Neil Lemons. I'm on the board of Social Media Dallas, formerly the Social Media Club of Dallas. And Jennifer is actually going to be presenting a case study at an upcoming social media showcase we're doing on September 17th at the Angelica. So if you go to smcdallas.org and click on our calendar, you can see that and sign up via Eventbrite. You'll actually see several case studies, but we're very excited and proud to have Jennifer, who will be presenting one for the State Fair. If anyone would like to join in, we've got 2 more seats available. Matt. Okay. Matt, CEO of Fujin Apps. Let's let you ask a question.
Hello. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing a few of the social media accounts, like Social Media Phoenix and now Social Media Dallas hop on, and I always love talking to them just because it's just fun. That's their thing, social media. So I just saw it and I had to hop on. But I probably missed. I just hopped in a second ago, so you might have already covered this. But I mean, if you're director of marketing for the State Fair.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is and that probably involves a lot of live social media. What's the top 3 ways that you use social media during a live event during the State Fair?
We're evolving that. I mean, looking at it, different ways. I mean, Facebook for us, that's sort of where our core is. I mean, we see that. I mean, that is one of the places where we have the most interaction. But what I'm really doing, what we did the last few years is really use Instagram more because, obviously, and the nice thing about that is you can push, one button, you push it and share it with all your channels. But it's hard to tell the story of something that covers the sheer amount of acreage that a fair has, as well as the number of daily activities that are going on in words. So pictures are really key, and kind of capturing that moment in time of pictures, and doing it in a way that kind of that honors the sort of the traditional side, the kind of the tradition and the family aspect of the fair. So we are really using a lot more photos, and this year you're going to see probably a lot more video.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, because now it makes it so easy to do stuff real time. Obviously, like we were talking a minute ago, I think there's a huge amount of opportunity in Periscope, and it's going to just probably be involved me or one of the staff, going out and just doing it. There's 110 things that I could do each day with Periscope. We probably won't have the bandwidth to do that, but I do think that there's several where we'll have the opportunity to stand in the ring with the pig race and watch the pigs go by and, walk through the barns and interview, do things and interview some of the exhibitors, especially the youth exhibitors and livestock, and talk to them about their experience and, how they got here and how they raise their animals. We have, we have 14 headliners on the main stage, plus 24 days of music on the main stage. So that gives you a lot of opportunity to do things as well. So, I mean, it's interesting this year, my request to the guy who produces the main stage was, all right, well, I'm going to need, and it was all social media. I'm like, I'm going to need this access to these things. And I want to Periscope the first song. And I want to, the list this year was very different than it had been 2 years ago of what we wanted to do with the main stage acts.
Okay. So
well,
I give you
say yes, I guess.
Say it again.
We'll have to see if they all say yes. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully they'll they all see the value in that.
Yeah, totally. Just a little tip as I'm a business owner, but also a consumer too. We all are consumers and potentially business owners. I like interacting with Facebook pages that are extremely human. And that's why I love the 20 Under 20 and I love Humans of New York, because they tell stories, and stories are how we connect on a deeper level. So maybe an idea that you might want to use, maybe doesn't really I wouldn't say it's really marketing, it's more storytelling, but maybe once a day post a Humans of the State Fair of Texas and just talk about their story. And I think those people looking at people just like them and hearing their story, because it's great to hear about, I don't know, the Gary Vaynerchuk's of the world, the Guy Kawasaki's of the world, but and the big stars of your state fair. But I think people really connect with the people that are on their level still, and why they went to the state fair. Then they said, "Oh yeah, I just read this online, and my son just said, hey, I really want to go, Dad, because my dream is to work at the state fair," and that connects with people, on an emotional level.
Well, one of the things that is my goal this year is also do a feature on the people who work at the fair.
Cool.
We have 6,000 seasonal employees that come in. I was saying earlier, on the full-time staff, I work with somebody who's been here for 47 years. He's amazing. Wow. It's incredible. And it's 47, 30, 20. People have a longevity with the fair, but it's even more interesting is that we have people who come in on a seasonal basis, take their vacation time to come work for the fair, or are retired in work. So the woman who heads up coupons has been here for 50 years, has worked for the fair seasonally for 50 years. Those types of stories we have people who come back year after year after year, and you see their faces, and it's one of the first day of the fair when you see there's a woman who works the lift gate over by our office, and every time I see her, I get, kind of choked up, because I know the fair is here again. It's real, because she's back working, and she says hi to me every morning. And, when you come in, you get this big grin for her, and they're so excited to be working here. So I think that's one of the other elements that we have a huge opportunity, not just with the fairgoer, but with some of the people that are behind the scenes that have given so much of themselves for so many years. And people wouldn't really think about it. But they're out there, they're working in they're working in the ticket booths, they're greeting you, and they're so excited to be here because they just love the fair. We have an 86-year-old, or she's probably almost 90 now, woman who works at the information booth. She comes every day. She's worked here for years and years and years, and she takes the train over from Oak Cliff every morning, and she comes and, she's there to greet people with the biggest smile on their face, and she's so excited to tell them what all the latest and greatest at the fair is and help them plan their, if they stop by our information booth. So those types of things I think are amazing as well.
Totally. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Matt, I guess you live in Dallas?
Oh no, I live in Phoenix. I just saw, I'm planning on actually potentially once I graduate college, which is very soon, Texas is somewhere I'm looking to move, maybe. So it's been between Texas, Salt Lake City, and San Diego. Depends on where the market is for my business, really.
Dallas is a great place for jobs,
yeah.
But if you're starting your own business, that's incredible as well.
Yeah,
it's very innovative for startups as far as being able to help people. We've got a lot of incubators and co-working spaces and accelerators and that kind of thing here. So, well, thanks, Matt. Anyone else want to join can go ahead and join and ask Jennifer a question or two.
Looks like there's a couple of questions. They're talking about sharing some of the topics that we covered at the showcase.
Yeah. All right. We can go ahead and do that. We don't have to. You don't have to completely tell everything, but if you want to go ahead and give us a little bit of an outline of what you plan on sharing at the showcase, that'd be incredible.
I think some of the other presenters are going to be talking more of a kind of a more defined time campaign piece. But as I was putting my together, it just kept looking at me. I'm going to kind of talk about the case study of the last 2 years in a way, and kind of our overall campaign to engage. So
That's
what
great.
we're looking at is how do you take a company that's been, an organization that has this tradition of 129 years and take it to social in a way that's authentic. And then how do you engage when you're basically not in business most of the year? So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on.
There could be a lot of other models just like that. Well, I mean, especially with all the events and festivals in Dallas that have been over the last 5 or 6 years. It seems to me like there's been a lot more as far as
it's totally. I mean, it's amazing to me that we can interact with people in January and get obviously not quite the same level of engagement as we can right now or in another 13 days. But people with the right content, like we were talking about, and we are incredibly content rich with, we have years and years of cookbooks, and we have people, chefs that are involved with us, and people who do cooking competitions, and all of these things that we have a lot of content that we can really meaningfully distribute throughout the year, and keep people engaged and interested in the fair. So.
Good point.
Hey guys, I'm gonna hop off just because I need to go wait in line for football tickets. ASU football is playing today, so I have a long wait in there. But I just wanted to hop on because I love meeting the social media accounts of the different cities and states. So it was nice meeting you guys, Jennifer. I don't know if the fair is running right now, but when it does start running, good luck with it. And I'm sure I'll see you both on the Blabosphere in the future.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Cool. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye, Matt. Jennifer, I don't know if you got a chance to kind of check out my profile, but I'm actually a blogger as well on the side. I've been blogging for 14 years, but I have a site called iliveinDallas.com, and it's been online for about 7 years. And we've been invited by the PR team to
come out
to the State Fair a few times, and it's always fun. It's very much we do a lot of food type stuff. But
we'll have to get you doing something livestock this year, or doing something on one of the guided itineraries or something for one of the kids. Kind of family focused stuff as well. That'd be fun.
Yeah. We actually some of the articles that have gotten the most traffic seem to be the family focused articles. They get shared a lot more, I guess. And State Fair is definitely one of the best opportunities for family activities for at least a month. And I do like the idea of the season pass because people go and they spend the money, and then they might only do a handful of things. But the season pass really sounds like a good. Is that the first year?
We're pricing it in a way where it's really not that much more than a regular admission ticket, but it gives you the opportunity to come out all 24 days. And this year online, we've done some bundling, so you can buy both your season passes or your general admission passes with your coupons all in one, and just have them delivered right to your door. So you get to skip
awesome.
online. You just get to walk through and start having fun.
That's cool. Very VIP. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Excellent. Cool. So everyone, please, and I guess we're just kind of wrapping up here, but go ahead and go to smcdallas.org and click on our events calendar, and then you'll see on September 17th, we're hosting the showcase, the social media showcase, and get your tickets via Eventbrite, and you will get to see Jennifer and several other people presenting their case studies on social media and how it's impacted people out there in their business. So
there was somebody that had questions about what hashtag for the fair. We encourage people to use hashtag big techs as one of them. And then we're also doing when we post things, we use hashtag share the SFT. So share the State Fair of Texas. So that especially things when we're asking for people to, share their picture of the Texas Star or their family or things like that.
Cool. Good. I'm glad you were paying attention to the side over here.
Yeah.
Cool. So what's any final words to tell us about State Fair, or any cool things that are extremely new, or maybe even hush hush, like you haven't even announced anywhere, that you could let us in on being on this little
I guess
secret?
a couple of things. One, we do have some shows that we're revamping this year. So the nightly show on the Esplanade, which is using the fountains and pirates and lights and all of that, that will be all new. It'll have a stage. It'll have performers as part of it. In the past, it being incorporated video, but this will be a more live performance, and it'll have a lot more pyro and a lot more things. So we're really excited about that. We haven't had a horse show at the fair in a while. So in the Pan Am Arena this year, we will have the Lone Star Horse Spectacular. And it will be a trick rope riding show that also incorporates live performance and some dancers and singers, and kind of tells and celebrates Texas. So that actually is great. And then in the Hall of State this year, we have the Big Texas Music. And it'll celebrate musicians from all different genres of music that all come from the state of Texas. So I think that's going to be a really great exhibit this year. And then watch on Tuesday, because that's when the list of the Big Tex Choice and those finalists have all been announced, but we have the list of new foods to the fair this year comes out on Tuesday the 15th. As well as we're really excited about this program this year. It's Thrifty Thursday. So everybody likes to come eat. We know that. So Tuesdays has always been a discount day on the Midway. There's discounted rides on the Midway. Well, now Thursday is going to be a discounted food day. So it's a voluntary program with the concessionaires, and we were hoping to, have maybe 30 of them participate. Well, there'll be 90 locations out of the 200 concession locations that will have one or two items that are discounted. And they're going to be between $2 and $4. So it might be a little bit smaller portion than something that you've had in the past. Sometimes it'll be a regular, but it's everything from cotton candy to Fletcher's, who are discounting their, they call it their bird dog, which is a turkey corn dog that day. So that Thursdays could be a really great, if you have that season pass and you can come on Thursdays, that's probably a really good value day for you.
That's a great deal for all the food
at a discount.
Yeah, that's it's like the taste of the Texas State Fair.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were actually. I mean, again, the response from the concessionaires was great. And the staff was even happier because a lot of our favorite stuff is on there. So we're like, score food on Thursdays. So
very cool.
We're excited about all of those programs.
Those are amazing. Thank you, Jennifer, for your time. I know this is a very busy time for you right now.
I was at the office anyway, so it's fine.
Oh, good. Great. So everyone, make sure you check out Jennifer. She's going to be speaking at the Social Media Showcase on September 17th with Social Media Dallas at the Angelica. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and y'all all have a great day.
Have a good day.